always. So this year has really been a season of firsts for you guys. You had the first #1 ranking, first #1 seed, first College Cup appearance now. What are your thoughts on the milestones that you've really achieved this season, and how does that kind of give you a springboard to, prepare for the future?
It's all about confidence. I haven't given it much more thought than that. There's so many things to celebrate this season. It's obviously there's only one team that does it per year out of 365, but I've said this and you know it from day one until we're one at the end of the year. Do I even reflect on the numbers? We have a tough opponent in front of us. So right now that's all I'm worried about is making sure that we bring our best for North Carolina.
Speaking of Carolina, I mean, they've obviously been there, done that many times before, 21 national championships for them. What is it like for you and your team preparing for something that you haven't necessarily been there for before? But, they've, kind of been there, done that. What's that mentality like?
We're just worried about us. This team is definitely a unique team. It's a team that's behind great leadership. We have so much experience on this team. We have Kadisha and Ashley that have really experienced things on a totally different level, too, being in World Cups and being in Olympics. So we fall on them a lot to make sure that the team's ready. But this team's not going to really worry about anything but what we have to do at hand and taking it to North Carolina.
About just playing at a neutral site. You're not in anybody's stadium or anything like that. What are challenges or anything like that that maybe are different from a typical regular season match?
Yeah, it's great for us. I mean, we got to Kansas and played the Big 12 in that venue, so we know what it's like to be on the road and have postseason stakes at hand. So it's going to be great to get out there and be at a neutral site. As much as we probably would have wanted it in North Carolina, I don't know if we would have wanted it in North Carolina, but we got to get out to California, settle in, and just get used to San Jose Stadium.
Following that, is there any disappointment that it got moved?
I mean, I think there's a lot of people that were disappointed because it's a drive compared to a flight, but at the end of the day, we can't control that, so I don't really worry about uncontrollables, but unfortunately, a lot of our fans, I think, would have been driving down, at least a lot that reached out to me, but, make it a little mini vacation and come to California.
How about playing North Carolina at San Jose instead of their backyard?
Yeah, that's something I just keep saying to myself, that as much as I would have loved people to get there and support us, I also think that North Carolina would have hit a huge advantage, so we might as well get to common ground.
99% of the time, if you're going to win this tournament, you got to go through UNC. It seems like they're a lot like you in that they have a lot of different people and they're just scoring. Play similar type of game.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of similarities. Their shape's a bit different because they play with a 3-back and 4 in midfield, but they definitely have similar tendencies. You're absolutely right. They're scoring. There's many people scoring. There's not just one goal scorer. But North Carolina, they have probably 2 lineups. They rotate so many different players, so that's going to be something we have to deal with. But it's going to be a heck of a match on Friday.
Nikki, you can talk to your players about previous NCAA tournaments and Elite Eights and stuff like that and your own experiences. What's this going to be like for you to have something that's even new to yourself?
Yeah, it's I think it's a game. I'm not going to put any more in it than what we've done all year long. We've stayed in such a great routine and made sure that we just worry about what we're doing and make sure that the girls are staying focused on what we need to do. We have takeaways after every game and improvements that we want to do and play to our strengths. So I think that's worked. I'm not really worried about anything but how I've approached this team in every game thus far, because I could be honest with you, that Duke game was definitely a Final Four game.
You get the feeling, they're not just satisfied getting to the Final Four. That's not your ultimate goal.
No, this team is definitely a little bit further than that. I mean, I know they know that one game at a time. We have 180 minutes to win a national championship, hopefully 180 minutes, but we're just going to take that next game one at a time, and that's how we've approached it. From day one. We're not going to worry about the next game. We're just going to worry about the game we're in.
Since your team is so strong defensively, does it kind of play to your advantage a little bit, because when teams get to this level, sometimes they tend to play a little more conservatively?
I think so. I mean, I think that every team has their strengths and their weaknesses. I do believe defense wins championships. That's always just something that I've believed in. Hopefully it comes true. But, I do believe that the experience and the opportunity we've had to have such a strong back line will play huge dividends in that game Friday night for us.
This guy is like the John Wooden of your sport. And you guys played him once. How much interaction have you had with him through the years?
Anson is definitely somebody that you have to respect for what he's done. And winning isn't easy, and I don't care who you are or what you have. And, I just really appreciate what he's done for women's soccer and how much notoriety he's brought to the game. Anson is definitely somebody that has been the forefront for our sport, so I have a ton of respect for him.
Model anything after what he's done? Build your program any way he has, or?
No, I'm Nikki Izzo-Brown. I can't be Anson. I can't be anyone but me. There's obviously some things that I would definitely take away from Anson, but I can't be Anson. He's too good.
They say sometimes, like in UConn with women's basketball, sometimes teams are defeated before they even play them, and maybe with North Carolina women's soccer, the same could be true with them as well. Have you seen much of that?
No, I don't really. I don't really think any of the girls have felt that it's North Carolina or if it's UCLA or if it's Duke. We've played some big names this year. So I don't really think that we're necessarily afraid of the name. I think that what we'll be cautious of is maybe some of their strengths. But the name hasn't made this team flinch at all. And I'll be honest with you, most of our Canadians don't really even understand what the difference is. They just want to win. So I guess that's my strength, and that's very fortunate. But we respect North Carolina. We haven't done what they've done, but moving forward, we want to win.
Coach, before you got here, it was just club soccer. Mm-hmm. So, to take over a job like that and now be where you are, what is it like?
I would never do it again.
To start where you started and to be where you are now, just can you talk about what it's been like?
It's definitely been a tremendous opportunity. I'm very thankful for this opportunity to build a program. Like you said, not many people have stayed in the same place and done what so many of my staff and myself have done. But like I said, I haven't really reflected on it. I can tell you this: when I took the job, I knew West Virginia was a special place. It just needed special people to win a national championship. So I never didn't think we could do it. It was just going to be a matter of everything getting in line. So I hope we got it all in line, and this could be our time. But I don't really think about that. I just think about what we got to do to beat North Carolina.
So going off that, what made you come to West Virginia?
It was an opportunity. I went to Wesleyan to get my MBA, and then they came calling and offered me the position. So, I thought, again, it was just an incredible place, wonderful people, and a great opportunity for me to compete in one of the best conferences in the country and to build a program.
You said you got some of your players from Canada. What made you look into Canada?
Canada makes sense. It's 5.5 hours away. There's great soccer. I had a friend up there that I knew was developing the kids the right way. Once you get one and they're extremely happy, it's pretty incredible how many more you get and how word travels fast. So I've been very fortunate that the kids that I've gotten from Canada just absolutely love West Virginia and everything about it.
What's the reaction been like the last 48 hours from, there's so many girls who played for you and some really good teams here to see this team?
Yeah, it's been incredible. When I talk about a West Virginia family and Mountaineer Nation, and I really reflect on 20 years of special people, and all these people are reaching out to me, and I keep thinking, did I respond to everybody? Because I don't want to forget anybody that has helped me get here. So it's been incredible, the support and all the texts and the emails and the phone calls and the media. Media's not the thing, that I necessarily love to do as much, but I appreciate all the support that you guys have given this program and what this means to the girls to be at the forefront.
Carolina dominance has kind of tapered off in the past 5 to 7 years or so. When NCAA soccer first started, they were winning almost every year. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like kind of college soccer as a whole has kind of caught up to them and what they kind of started?
I think parity has happened. I think kids are making choices differently. I think North Carolina is still incredibly strong and have a tremendous program. I just think kids and other programs, there's just so much parity and opportunity, and I think that's kind of what's played into it. Great coaching everywhere, great programs. Athletic departments are investing more and more in different programs. So I think in the early years, North Carolina was the program that was invested, and Anson did such a tremendous job. And now I think kids just have so many opportunities. Title IX has really helped, but also the great coaching and opportunities the athletic departments have presented.
Have you played in California before? It seems like you play a lot of those teams in tournaments in Indiana and so forth.
Yeah.
Have you played in the state of California?
We went out and played back when in Washington. We played Portland when they won the national championship, as a matter of fact, and making that trip out there and then having to come back and play league play, I said I'll never make that trip again. I've never played in California, as a matter of fact, but just the state of Washington.
How do you're back to a full roster now? How have you acclimated them? How is that going?
Yeah, that's been definitely something that we had to put a lot of thought and mindfulness in. It was difficult. These kids are traveling over almost three time zones, and I thought Riley and Bianca did a great job adjusting to that. And obviously you saw Riley's performance and Bianca's performance, so I give them so much credit for making that adjustment. But it was difficult, and I didn't know what kind of shape they were going to be in, and I couldn't train them for a couple days. So
Jet lag, the whole thing?
Everything. I mean, I know Riley and Bianca didn't sleep one night just with their travels, so it was pretty impressive what those two young ladies did.
Yeah, obviously got more time now.
Yeah, we do, and getting to California and just kind of adjusting to that now will be helpful.
I think Riley's a young 18 when she turned 18 this summer.
She is
something
young.
like very young. Have you seen many players with her kind of poise and so forth in the field at that age to be able to come into high D1?
No, probably just Keisha and Ashley have done it, at that level for us. She really just kind of stepped in and was a leader right away and played way beyond her years. And Riley is a student of the game. You can sit down and talk to Riley about any position. She'll tell you everything you need to know about soccer, and that's what makes her so special, too. She has such a great understanding of the game and maturity about the game, and I think that's what's made her have an easy acclimation to coming in as a freshman. But Keisha and Ashley did the same thing, and I think those are special players that adjusted very well.
Franny Siller was a 17-year-old for most of her freshman season.
Yeah, I couldn't tell dirty jokes when Franny was around, so, until they all turn 18, right? No, Franny, again, another special player. But, yeah, I mean, Keisha and Ash were young, and obviously Riley's young.
How do you go about, you go tomorrow, do you let them soak in the experience a little bit and then tighten it up as you get closer to game time? What do you do there?
Yeah, it's such a quick turnaround. I mean, I saw the kids on Sunday for recovery, and now we're leaving Tuesday. So, yeah, I mean, we'll get together as a group, and again, it's like we're going to a Big 12 game. We'll get on a plane ride. We're going to get ready. We're going to get adjusted. I think there's just a little bit more media and a little bit more, demands of us. But this team's pretty focused.
I mean, the last 2 or 3 weekends you've been here in Morgantown,
Yeah.
not having to travel. Do you think that's helped with the recovery after
I
the
do.
long season?
I do. I definitely think being in our own environment, being comfortable, being in a routine has been great. But I also think I spoke to it, going to the Big 12 and playing on a neutral site will also play into what we're going to do out in California, because we have had to travel. We've had the Big 12 travel. So I do believe that staying home and being in the NCAA tournament at home has allowed us to recover, but I also like the opportunity of us getting to San Jose and not in North Carolina and making sure we take care of business there on the road.
Will the warmer weather maybe give some of your athletic kids more burst getting to the ball, you think?
Yeah, I think it's something that they're it's funny when UCLA was here and the weather was cold. I kept saying, that's going to play to our advantage, and none of them like the cold, but, so I think they'll be excited to be out there and playing in some good weather.
You have WVU, obviously in the big picture now, but throughout since you've been here, what has been the biggest struggle of getting to the point where you're at?
You got to understand one thing. As a coach, you always want more. So I'm always fighting for more. If Florida State has something or UCLA has something, that's just been, something probably that every coach will tell you they want to have better facilities, they want to have better opportunities. So I just think having your athletic director support you in those demands would probably be any struggle of any coach, but that would probably be definitely something that would be, nothing was ever handed to me. If I'm not fundraising, I'm fighting, and most coaches do that. Yeah.
How do you kind of balance that relationship with them and replacing an older player with a younger player and
tough.
lose them internationally?
It's tough. It's tough. I think that, both of them have handled the situation really well. It takes a special senior in Michelle Newhouse, to play in that role and to play inside that role. So I give her all the credit, but there's been a lot of hard conversations, and I've been honest and upfront, and that's all I can be as a coach. And, as a coach, you have to make hard decisions and what's best for the team. And, my heart's always with the seniors because they've given us so much, but I also have a job to do and got to go with what I feel is best at that moment for the team.
What did say to Michelle that she came out of a state that's not very highly regarded in terms of producing that talent, all that she's been able to achieve?
Oh, I'm so proud of her. We know how much Michelle has developed. I mean, she was such an incredibly athletic kid that just needed speed of play, needed this, to kind of be at this high level. And we all saw how she was able to perform and how much growth she had. I mean, I think her freshman year she couldn't even catch a ball. So and I'm being honest. So her development has just been incredible.
Okay, we're gonna bring
Good coaching.
Front.
Woo!